Hi, and welcome to the Cavan Community and Culture Show. I'm your host, Grace McKiernan. Coming up on today's show, we have an interview with worldwide touring theatre company Footsbarn, who brought their creative and eclectic style of performance to the Cootehill Arts Festival last month. I caught up with some of the group to talk about their life on the road, their love for Cootehill, and the need for rebels in today's society. First up, Culture Night takes place this year on Friday the 22nd of September with an abundance of free events across the county. One such event is the one-man show Turf, written by and starring Frank Farrell. Bringing the audience on a journey, the mixture of sculpture, installation and performance tells a story of one life but many selves, and explores not how to hold the turf, but how the turf takes a hold of you. Frank kindly joined me in the studio to talk about the show and his deep love for the bog in Cavan. Okay, the show is described as sculpture, installation and performance. So what can the audience expect when they go to see it on Culture Night?
Well, I'm bringing the experiences of the bog onto the stage through 6 different characters. And the physicality of it is that a barrel of turf will be visually seen at the end of it. Okay. So the characters bring you on this journey, hopefully, conjure your imagination. Experiences from the bog to the stage. That's really it.
Okay, great. And it's through storytelling.
Yeah.
And kind of why did you decide to go with storytelling as the method to use?
I thought that it would be really interesting to experiment how different characters come alive that I have actually experienced, and some to the extreme and some more minimal, but really this is really the experiences of footing turf as a job many years ago to bringing it to a performance.
And you say stories that you've experienced. So are the stories that you're telling based on people that you've met yourself
Yes.
in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, great, okay.
Well, in a previous existence,
Yeah.
I was a professional peat block mover, so I moved turf on a price since 1984. And then when I went back to college, my degree was centred around a performance on turf. So I spent 5 years working on this and bringing the experiences of everyday life to a stage and structuring that, but it took many years, many attempts to get to where it is now, which is reasonable enough. Yeah. And just for people to enjoy it, that they've stepped back into a sunny evening or a damp October day where they're trying to bring turf out of the bog, or it might just conjure something in their imagination. That's all I'm hoping, that they'd enjoy the experience.
And how were you inspired then by kind of the County Cavan landscape and the bog landscape of the Midlands?
It's all around me. Where I'm from, in Longford, the Bog Museum is beside me. It's only 4 miles away. The Cootehill Trackway Centre. So I'm right in the middle of the bog. So all my ancestors cut with sleighs, as many others footed turf. I just didn't, from coming from London, from growing up in London, Irish parents that moved back, seeing this on my holiday, this landscape, this space, this just naturalistic environment, it was just amazing. I am always impressed by just the stillness of it. I just love it. I still love it. I still foot turf.
And do you think that having grown up in London, and then kind of having such a contrast between kind of the middle of the countryside in Ireland and growing up in London, like that it kind of gave you an outsider's perspective almost of
Definitely.
what, yeah?
I appreciate it more, I feel, because I know people cannot stand the bog and cousins that wouldn't, but I have even now I enjoy it more. Every summer really starts for me in the middle of April. Till just last week I brought my last load out, so I foot turf for others still. And I still incorporate barrels, which is not, it's not common now. People don't put turf into barrels, they foot turf into stooks, and, it's 2B2B2 all the way up, or 2B1, but mine is 7 sods on the bottom to 5.5 feet. So that incorporates about 7 bags of turf. And that's where the performance ends, when I get that last sod on top.
tell us a bit about yourself. You grew up in London, and then you moved down to Ireland then in the 80s?
My parents moved back in 1983, so I was 19. And I loved the idea. I always knew we'd come back home to South Longford. Mum and Dad are from there, went to school together there. So all my family are from there. And there was no problem for me moving back. I have a twin brother in London and an older brother. They'd come here for a holiday, but I've always had a love for Ireland. So as a child, going as a child to the bog with me uncles, with me cousins, I just had an interest in it, and I can understand how other people wouldn't. So I just always continually love the stillness of it, even more so now as a 54-year-old. But I wouldn't push down on anybody that, you must. I'm not obsessive about the bog. I just foot turf and do barrels, and I have installations within sheds at home. I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm surrounded by bogs. So for me, my ancestors cut. My dad was a great slaynesman. He was well sought after, like many other men. I'm not trying to make out that there's something original about that, but the physicality of it, I enjoy the finished product, and the idea that you've processed a harvest is a bit simplistic, but bringing all these characters to the stage are just probably the obsessional time of when we're on piecework, that there could be 150 acres of bog in different places around the Midlands. And as far as Tipperary and Offaly as well, that we're searching for the perfect row, bin, hopper. We're looking for the sod that we can move quicker so that we can get paid, because it's piecework. It's not, if you go in and do nothing, you learn nothing. So it's about rhythm.
And it's something like working, even with the countryside, even farming, working with bog, is something that's kind of becoming less and less and less an occupation that young people kind of want to be a part of. Like, we're moving more and more towards a city culture in Ireland. Do you think especially when the relationship with the land has been such an important thing for Irish people through the last centuries, do you think that's changing? Yeah,
definitely changing. Yeah, children are not encouraged to go down, but I can understand why they wouldn't when they have every app, and it's a different world we live in now. And then the environmental, there's definitely an argument there, but many years ago there was hardship in the bog. There was cutting the slane, wheeling it out, bad surfaces, bad drainage, bad feeding. It was an incredibly physical job. But now, machine does everything, hops it out. All you have to have is patience, wind and sun. And you hit on a good summer, like this summer's been, I think, great, and the turf cut early. It's not that big of a deal. So I think we look into too much about the pain of it and the misery of it. And I can understand children wouldn't want to sit with themselves or be in that stillness or find that environment unattractive, because we live in a visual age that you couldn't blame them. When they can get everything on an app, they can watch someone footing turf rather than experiencing it, I suppose. Really.
And what do you think the future is then for Irish bogs, and how do you think that we could encourage people to get more involved with a relationship with the countryside? I
think that the councils are spending more money on walkways, which is really interesting, but the environmental or the ecological problems definitely there'll be less and less turf cut. Definitely there'll be other sustainable ways of heating. But I'm looking at it as a performance, not really the historical significance of it. I'm just trying to bring people on a journey of the people I met, the extreme environment of obsessively looking for that perfect row. So it's about doing your job. And there was 2 operations, splitting and walling. Not just like footing turf. This was off the high bank, so there'd be peat blocks, and they were cutting with different buckets. And so I'm trying to bring that into just ordinary turf footing. So there's a slight little twinge in it because I'm doing it on piecework, so I want to get out of 15 bins is a normal crop for a farm or for a family, and I'm trying to get out of that the quickest way. So not every bin's going to be the same. And then with the summer you might have to refoot, so you're topping some off, your foot in the bottom, as many other people do.
Yeah. And Culture Night itself kind of has become a great event now during the year for lots of people to get interested, I guess, in different art going on in the county. Do you think that it'll be a good way, like people coming to see shows that they maybe wouldn't normally be interested in?
Yeah, hopefully. I'd really encourage it in any town. Yeah, just to get out there and see what's going on. Yeah, because I'm not telling people to go to the bog, or I'd gladly show out to foot a barrel of turf, but there's many people far better than me that can foot turf. I'm just really trying to comically, in a comedic way, bring people on a journey of that obsessiveness of the perfect side, of piecework, rather than the leisurely, communal, family money in the 60s or 70s where we all go down together and we do it as
it used to be kind of a family event in the summer.
It was a family event, and that's ceased to exist really. So, I'd love if everyone come out to see any aspect of Irish culture. Definitely, I'd hopefully that they'd enjoy the experience, and I don't mind feedback to say, well, I don't understand that, or, I'm not precious about it. It's just characters I brought from real life, from 1984. I footed turf professionally for 18 years, and that sounds really strange, but I worked with many companies, and they were great to me, really good to me. So I'm just trying to promote what I know in a real simplistic form, the characters that I met in my life, and I've brought them to a stage, and I'm hoping that people could identify, or their imagination could be fired, and with a bit of fun.
Thanks so much to Frank for chatting to me. And you can catch his show Turf in the Tom Regan Parish Hall, Ballyconnell at 8 p.m. on Friday the 22nd. Don't miss it.
I'm not that kind of girl to keep my voice unheard, to carefully pick words, oh no. I'm not that kind of girl to easily get hurt, no bullets fit my shirt. But there's something in the way I act around you, trying to turn your head, laugh at jokes that I don't get. There is something in the way I act around you, the way I feel about you, not a thing I wouldn't do. I will tie my hair blonde for you. I will tie my hair blonde for you. You got them high power, the sweet and sour, and you won't got me loose. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. I will tie my hair blonde for you. I will tie my hair blonde for you. You got them high power, the sweet and sour, and you won't got me loose. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. Don't buy me fancy things, don't buy me any drinks. I pay for my own sins, oh yeah. I was raised to be free, got my independency. Why do I get so weak? 'Cause there's some